Hello, top 5%ers. I recognize a lot of names on this list, and I'm very happy and proud of all of you. I know this recognition didn't come without a lot of personal sacrifice and hard work. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Colin Powell. He was a brilliant four-star general. And he said, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from your failures." So congratulations to all of you for your success so far. You deserve to enjoy this moment and remember it. But please don't settle on what you did last year. More than ever, this country and the world needs you to continue to be awesome. The hard work that you put in has prepared you and put you in a better position than almost anyone in your class for that next step. You are definitely ready. Now commit yourself to working as hard as you did over the past few years, and your future will be impactful and meaningful. You are the future, and what you do over the next 5 years will make all the difference in what happens in the last 60 years of your life. Godspeed.
Subhadra, this Coach Hanley. Congratulations on being recognized for your academic excellence. Congratulations also to your parents and to your classmates being celebrated in this virtual jacket ceremony. Brendan, it's been my pleasure to work with you during cross-country and indoor track and outdoor track over these past 4 years. Well, unfortunately, not this past outdoor season. But looking back, my first impression of you was your frequent smiles. We would all do well to bring your enthusiasm to any of our life's challenges. Over the past years, I've watched you formulate your racing and training plan based on data that you considered and evaluated and measured against your experience. You developed yourself into one of our most consistent and reliable racers. Going forward, I encourage you to continue to assess and evaluate data as you make your plans. Continue to maintain your enthusiasm and your concern for others. I rest easy when I consider a future that taps your talents. Congratulations again, and good luck to you and the entire class of NHS 2020.
Hello, I'm here to speak on behalf of Alice Pereira. I've known Alice since 9th grade when she joined the girls' tennis team. I've also been lucky enough to have Alice in class for 2 years. She was in my 4 honors class and in my AP Spanish class this year. I've been lucky enough to have Alice in advisory and got to know her quite well with some of her friends who would come in regularly before school and have breakfast in my room as a way to get their day started. I know Alice to be a very serious and committed student, certainly responsible like every other student probably who's in the top 5%. Alice is a very confident student, certainly not arrogant. She has a confidence that is tempered by a very reasonable mindset. I never found Alice to be one of those people who was grade hungry or anything of that sort. This year in my Spanish class, Alice earned the seal of biliteracy through the Apple test put out by the American Associations of Teachers of Spanish and Portuguese. And she achieved the seal of biliteracy by working or by showing proficiency at a level that almost would qualify her to teach the language, or in other words, to be at the level of proficiency in Spanish of a student 4 years from now in college, a senior in college, for example. At Naugatuck High School, Alice was certainly a giving and involved student. She was involved in tennis, as I mentioned. As a matter of fact, I remember her freshman year, she and her friends would come to every meet, even though they didn't have to. They would come and support the team, certainly wanting to get involved. This year and the last, she was involved in the World Language Club. She was involved in the Science Olympiad, the book club in the library, and she would volunteer during the summers with some friends at local elementary schools to help students during summer school. These types of activities, Alice, are the kinds of activities that get people behind you and rooting for you, because you're not just one to walk through Naugatuck High School and be invisible. Certainly you got involved while at Naugatuck High School. Okay. As you move forward next year, if you do that at the next level, it will be your college professors, not your high school teachers, who will push you toward that excellence that I know that you're capable of. By the way, Alice was accepted into Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut, certainly an excellent university, and accepted the day that she was accepted. That university sees something in you that they want to help foster and grow, just like we did at Naugatuck High School. And I wish you nothing but the best as you continue to pursue your excellence at the next level. Congratulations on making it to the top 5%, Alice.
Fate whispers to the warrior, "You cannot withstand the storm." The warrior whispers back, "I am the storm." When I hear this saying, I think of Anson Lau. Aren't all warriors just and good? Don't they fight until the end? Don't they power through? Anson forges through life in a powerful yet benevolent way. He once told me that as a young boy, he did not prioritize or even value his education, but the obstacles and battles he has faced throughout his young life have helped him grow into the stellar man we see in this picture. His strength emanates from those early struggles, but the struggles do not define him. He defines himself. He is now a young man that radiates intelligence, passion, humor, and grace. He is kind and giving and helpful, and people gravitate towards him. I know I have. Teaching Anson has been one of the greatest joys of my 19 years in education, and I will always treasure his impact on my classroom and on myself. And I truly wish he was standing next to me as I say these words. Anson is one of those students who does not realize how smart and how powerful he is. He walks through life learning and questioning and never realizes that he affects those around him. During an average English class, Anson asked and answered questions, and I would see eyebrows raise and comprehension take place right in front of me, and he never realized it. Not a day would go by during which he would not share his insights and help the person next to him express his. Not a day would go by that he would not question Gatsby's motivations, Perry Smith's mental state, or give voice to Duncan, the King of Scotland, in a way only Anson can. He brought laughter and ease to rigorous classes and difficult texts. He has left an indelible mark on me and on his peers with his ability to have fun and learn and think so intensely and purely. I had the pleasure of watching Anson tutor a younger student in math. All of his beautiful qualities, his passion, his kindness, and his intelligence were focused on that one child. And this child, who rarely speaks, opened up to him and was responding to him. And he was learning math right in front of me. Anson was able to use his own skills and intelligence to break down these difficult concepts and reach another student who had been struggling for months. This is just one of Anson's superpowers. He can also speak about Shakespeare so any layman can understand, write stories that spark the imagination, and speak about his passions eloquently and majestically. He commands the attention of whatever room he is in. To Anson, you are powerful, you are strong, you are successful, you are awesome, you are loved by many, you are a good man. It has been my incredible honor to learn with you as a teacher and a fellow human being. I have appreciated your candor and your insight. I have learned from your musings and conversations. I have loved watching you grow. If I had been blessed in this life with a son, I can only hope he would have been like you, a beautiful soul. In closing, the world needs to prepare for the storm that is Anson Lau. Rage on, Anson.
I am so honored to be here today to say a few words about Lauren Rupsis. I've had the good fortune of being Lauren's teacher in AP Literature and Composition this year, and it has been such a delight. It's always very special to teach a class of seniors embarking on that final phase of their high school journey, headed for that next big destination in life. To be given the opportunity to witness the progress of this incredibly accomplished graduating senior has been just so rewarding. Someone like Lauren was born to take AP Literature. A student with keen intellect, she's particularly suited to the study of English. An excellent analytical reader, she has an eye for even the most subtle detail of authorial style. Her fellow students are drawn to work with her because of her strength in this area. I recall a very challenging diction scavenger hunt where students had some rather complicated devices to identify over the reading of several poems. With her many contributions, Lauren's group powered through quickly and methodically, one of the few groups to successfully find every device. Her insights on everything we read, from Shakespeare to Shelley, are always insightful and consistently enrich our discussions and understandings of the text. While on the topic of her shared insights, I must note that Lauren is not one who speaks frivolously. And this may be why, when she chooses to speak, everyone listens. She waits until she has something significant to share, which means that what she has to say is often insightful and complex. It's been a delight to be a part of these discussions and watch the evolution of understanding for the class unfold so richly, in part thanks to Lauren's analysis and ideas that often go beyond the superficial, helping us navigate more deeply into the inner workings of the text. Now, by mentioning that Lauren usually waits to speak until she has something to say, please don't assume that quiet means passive. She is masterful at arguing and fiercely defending her ideas. I recall a discussion we had when she was coming up with her own angle of analysis for Hamlet. She shared the ideas she had brainstormed. Thinking I was helping, I suggested it might be easier to frame her topic of interest a little differently, but she was adamant that she knew where she was headed and that she could do it, and she stuck with it. And she did know. A few weeks later, she had constructed a beautiful, albeit difficult, examination of the shifting sense of morality in Hamlet. Lauren does not shy away from a challenge, and she does not necessarily take the easiest route. As a result, she learns so much along the way. She is self-directed, curious, disciplined, and detail-oriented. With those traits, I am confident that she can succeed in anything she puts her mind to. Upon rereading my speech, I couldn't help but notice that so much of it has to do with Lauren's gift with words, whether as a reader or as a writer. I'd like to close with a passage from an author that Lauren read this year in class, Jhumpa Lahiri. In a passage about language, Lahiri notes how words and their ever-evolving uses and meanings are an accurate metaphor for life itself. She writes, "What does a word mean? And a life? In the end, it seems to me the same thing. Just as a word can have many dimensions, many nuances, great complexity, so too can a person, a life. Language is the mirror, the principal metaphor, because ultimately the meaning of a word, like that of a person, is boundless, ineffable." I thought of Lauren with that last phrase. A person is boundless, ineffable. You, Lauren, are in a position where nothing can stop you. Like the words that you are so gifted with, you will grow, evolve, have many dimensions. Your definitions will be many and nuanced and never-ending. It has been such a delight to be with you for a small part of your journey. I wish I could have stood with you on the stage to deliver this speech to your family and your school community. You deserve these honors and this recognition. Please know that your hard work and resilience do not go unseen, and we applaud you, even if from afar. And as your teacher, I want you to know that I appreciate all you've given to me and to our class. It's been such a privilege to be your teacher, and I am so excited for the prospect of the rich future that awaits you. Congratulations and best of luck at Hofstra University in the fall.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Corcoran, and today I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of Vicky Chen. I first met Vicky last year when she was a student in my honors chemistry class. It was apparent very quickly that she was an extremely bright individual, and I enjoyed teaching her in class. I was excited to see Vicky's name on my list again this year for study hall. This was also around the same time that she asked me to write a letter of recommendation for her to use while applying to colleges. I was pleasantly surprised to see just how amazing all of her grades really were. Her transcript is beyond impressive, and that is due to her natural ability and intellect, as well as her fantastic work ethic. That is also why she's graduating third in her class. And I'm sure that her family and all of her teachers couldn't be more proud of her achievements. Spending time with her in study hall this year has given me a chance to really get to know Vicky beyond being an excellent student, and I have only become more impressed by her. I learned that even though she was born in New York, she spent a lot of time throughout her younger years traveling back and forth, visiting her family in China. I also learned that Chinese was actually her first language, and when she started kindergarten in the United States, she had to learn English as well. Toward the beginning of 6th grade, her family relocated to Maine, where they remained until moving to Naugatuck during Vicky's junior year when I first met her. Even though she's only been here for 2 years, she's had quite an impact on our school. Vicky has been part of our DECA program, where she was able to compete at the state level. For her civic action project, she collected 12,000 signatures in support of the Paycheck Fairness Act. And she has been part of the Freshman Mentor Program, helping to guide incoming students through the transition to high school. While she has been doing all of these things in school and maintaining stellar grades, she has also been working in her family's local restaurant. Through all of this, all of the demands and responsibilities that she has, Vicky has remained grounded, focused, and she has kept her sense of humor, which is something else I learned about her this year in study hall. Without the pressure of all the classes, she is so funny. Currently for next year, Vicky is planning to begin the finance program at UConn, and the program is lucky to have her. She hopes to use the degree she earns to get into the world of banking or corporate finance. Vicky, I am so grateful that I had a chance to be your teacher and that I was able to get to know you beyond just your grades. I am so proud of all that you have accomplished, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Congratulations.
I am very honored to be selected to speak on Gabrielle Cantone's behalf today. I have had the good fortune of being her English teacher for 2 years, and I'm here to attest to what an absolute pleasure she is in every regard. Let me start with a famous expression: to find yourself, think for yourself. These words attributed to Socrates make me think immediately of Gabrielle, an absolute original who is always quintessentially herself, while also fiercely committed to selecting her own intellectual path. She is so much a person who is authentic and driven, who is motivated by her own curiosity and vision. It has been a privilege to witness her growth over an extended period of several years. She came to my class as an 11th grader, one who already had a surprisingly impressive set of skills in tow. I went on to discover that she is many things in addition to skilled. She is intelligent, hardworking, conscientious, insightful, thoughtful, disciplined, helpful, eloquent, kind. You get the idea. To be a teacher to a student like Gabrielle is not only a delight, but it's also simple, because Gabby wants nothing more than to learn. She is driven by a force within her, an inherent curiosity about humanity, the world, the universe. She has a self-confessed passion for understanding the cosmos, as evidenced by her choice of celebrity favorite Neil deGrasse Tyson. On the other hand, she is equally passionate about wanting to understand the workings of humanity. The founder of the NHS Philosophy Club, she is driven to understand not just the stars, but our existence beneath the stars. While sometimes science and philosophy are seen as two very different disciplines, in a student like Gabrielle, one is reminded that it is all interconnected, and that understanding the universe or understanding us, it's maybe not so different after all. As I contemplated Gabby's many gifts and accomplishments in writing this speech, the phrase Renaissance woman kept coming to mind. Gabby is someone who has begun the journey of developing knowledge in many different fields and disciplines. With her intelligence, curiosity, I can only imagine the vast amount of knowledge she'll acquire at UConn, where she'll be studying next year. So I've spoken at length about Gabrielle's brain, but I've yet to address her heart. Gabby is kind, thoughtful, considerate, helpful, respectful to all around her. Her peers gravitate to her. And not that she seeks or demands it, because she is also humble, but she is often seen as a leader in her group. She is, albeit not someone who wields power for power's sake, but rather the type of leader who inspires their team to share and follow their own ideas. I recall close reading groups in 11th grade while working with The Great Gatsby. The groups were randomly assigned, and they changed with each class, meaning that students seldom worked with the same group twice. No matter what compilation of peers Gabby found herself with, she consistently gave the group what they needed. If the members were quiet and uncertain, she took the reins. If they had ideas on what they would like to focus on, she hopped on board and helped refine them. If they ran enthusiastically in a particular direction, she joined in their enthusiasm. In every scenario, she was a thoughtful listener and team player, a compassionate helper and motivator, an inspiring leader and good friend. Socrates said, "In every person there is a sun. Just let it shine." I can't help but think of Gabby with these words. In a literal sense, she lights up the room for those around her. But likewise, she is a young woman who knows her mind and is driven by her own curiosity about the world around her. Her sun will undoubtedly lead to many exciting adventures and opportunities in the future. Her light will inspire many around her. I couldn't be more thrilled for her in the face of all she is about to experience. Gabby, it's been such a privilege to be your teacher these 2 years. Students like you make my job the most rewarding in the world, so thank you. Your curiosity, your intelligence, your kindness will certainly lead you to many fantastic experiences in this universe of ours, and I am confident that in learning all about it, you will be making many unique contributions to humanity. Please accept my congratulations to you and your family on your many well-deserved honors and achievements. I know how hard you've worked for them. I know they must be so proud of you, as am I. I am so excited for all that awaits you, and I wish you all the best of luck at UConn next year.
Good afternoon. My name is Mrs. Russell, and it's my pleasure to speak on behalf of Andre Sweet. I met Andre when he was a freshman in my Geometry's Honors class, and also every Sunday at church. He would always greet me with his beautiful smile and a personality that always shined through. Last year, he was a student assistant in my co-taught Algebra 1A class. His compassion and commitment in helping my students went above and beyond. I told him he had found his passion. Working with others should be his career path. I had a student who spoke very little English, and Andre took it upon himself to sit with the student and interpret the lessons for him in Spanish, and also at times use Google Translator to help with the assignments. Andre, each and every day, goes above and beyond. To honor you and to kind of commemorate this time, I made you a little survivor kit for life, which seems appropriate now with all this pandemic that we are facing. Life moves on whether we act as cowards or heroes. Life is a challenge, so meet it. Life is a gift, so accept it. Life is an opportunity, take it. Life is a puzzle, solve it. You are about to venture out onto your next journey. So here's to facing it, to praising it, and unfolding it. So the first item I'm going to place inside this kit are some pencils to signify, to remind you to leave your mark. The country band Lady Antebellum says it best. I want to do something that matters, say something different, something that sets the whole world on its ear. I want to do something better with the time I've been given. I want to touch a few hearts along the way and leave nothing less than something that says, I was here. The second item is a penny to remind you that you are valuable. From my favorite book, Fish, the ingredients are there. You are the only one who can put them together into that pattern that will be your life. Let it be a life that's a dignity and meaning for you. Next, Andre, is a star to remind you to shine. And of course, all stars have some sparkle. So shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. They still shine bright. Next are pom-poms, to remind you that people are cheering for you, and I'll be your loudest. Once a greyhound, always a greyhound, Naughty strong. Oprah once said, "You can't do it all yourself. Don't be afraid to rely on others to help accomplish your goals." Smarties are going in next to remind you that you are smart. If you are willing to take the opportunity you are given and utilize the abilities you have, you will constantly fill your life with special moments and unforgettable times. Next in the kit will be an eraser to remind you that it's okay to make mistakes. Hanging on my door is a poster that says, "If you fail, never give up," because fail means first attempt in learning. Learn from those mistakes and move on. Bubblegum goes in next to remind you to stick with it. We should not let our fears hold us back from pursuing our hopes. John F. Kennedy. Next, a balloon to remind you to reach for the sky. If we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astonish ourselves. Thomas Edison. Next, a virtual hug. Wish I could give it to you in person, but a virtual hug and some hope that reminds you that you are loved. If we only carry one thing throughout your entire life, let it be hope. Let it be hope that better things are always ahead. Let it be hope that you can get through even the toughest times. Let it be hope that you are stronger than any challenge that comes your way. Let it be hope that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now, and that you are on the path to where you are meant to be. Because during these times, hope will be the very thing that carries you through. And finally, some Tootsie Rolls. To tell you to roll into your next adventure. No one knows the mysteries of life or the ultimate meaning, but those who are willing to believe in their dreams and in themselves. Life is a precious gift in which anything is possible. All the best, Andre, as you move on to Southern Connecticut State University to study biology and education. I knew a teacher was in you. I wish when I see you in person, this will be your little kit. I thank you for asking me. It's been my privilege, and I wish you again all the best. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. The class of 2020 has been an incredible group with so many great students, many of them being recognized today in this virtual jacket ceremony. With so many great speakers today, I want to do something a little different for Michaela. So instead of telling you how incredibly great Michaela Williams is, because we all know that she is, instead I'm going to read a virtual thank you note that I wrote to her and does include some others. So here it goes. Michaela, I first like to thank you for choosing me to be your speaker today, even though it's virtual. It is an incredible honor, and I have to say, coming up with nice things to say about you was incredibly easy. So I appreciate that very much. I'd also like to thank you on behalf of Naugatuck Public Schools and Naugatuck High School for coming here. Certainly a student with your abilities, both academically and just with sports and everything and activities and your attitude, you could have gone to many different high schools, so we appreciate that. I'd also like to thank you for signing up for my AP Gov course, because that's how I got to know you your junior year. And we just kind of hit it off from there, so thank you for that. I'd also like to thank you on a more personal note for riding with the chaperones on the Disney Skyliner and comforting Mrs. Dunn, who struggles with heights, but for some reason thought she would do well on the Skyliner, and you were a very calming presence with that. So thank you very much. I'd also like to thank you, and this is the only time I'll admit this, but I know some of my jokes are corny and maybe not as funny as I think they are, or my wife tells me that they are, but you always laughed, and you always at least pretended that they were funny, and I appreciate that, Michaela, and I thank you for it. I'd also like to thank you for waking up at the crack of dawn, maybe actually a little bit before, at Disney, so that me and the boys could ensure that we got on Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios. For those of you that have not been there, it is their new Star Wars ride. It is epic, but you have to get there first thing in the morning to reserve a spot. And we did that. And again, Michaela was a great help with that positive personality. I'd like to thank you, Michaela, for being there and a positive, uplifting presence for your fellow students. When a student was down, I feel being around you made them feel better. You're always so positive. You're always so supportive, and that really shows. Adding to that, thank you for days that I was struggling, that I came into the classroom maybe having a tough day or had something going on. Just every time you walked in that room and you said good morning and you were so eager to jump into the material, really made it easier for me as a teacher. Speaking to that, I'd like to thank you, Michaela, for pushing me and motivating me to be the best teacher that I could be. You always were so eager to learn and to push the envelope and to do more. And so as a teacher in a new class, I had to do that for myself as well. And I could say, thanks to you, not only did I make that class better, but I grew as a teacher by having you in there. I'd like to thank you for almost always siding with me when I bickered with Mr. Siskowski. We all know that I am always right when it comes to dealing with that man. But some students, I think out of pity for him, sometimes side with him. But you were on my side, Michaela, and I am very thankful for that. I'd also like to thank you, although maybe this one is more of a curse than anything else, for your dance moves, because I have adopted them with my hands and my arms, and I sometimes just start doing them, and my wife looks at me like I have three heads, and she says, "What are you doing?" We're in the middle of dinner. We're in the middle of just having a conversation, and I said, "I just can't help it. Michaela does it, and it's very contagious." So thank you for that. I greatly enjoy it, even though my wife thinks I'm crazy. I'd also like to thank you, just Michaela, and I kind of referenced this a few times now, but just being a great and genuine person. You were always a student and just a young woman who, were honest, was clear, and just someone I knew I could trust. And I really appreciate that, not only as a teacher, but just as a person. You don't find as many people as good, just as overwhelmingly good of a person as you, Michaela, and I truly appreciate that. You really did make this school in this world a better place. And I want one last thank you, Michaela, as I just had my first daughter was born last week. And I want to thank you for being an inspiration, because if she can grow up to be like you in just under 2 decades, that would be a job well done for me. You really have set the bar, and you really have been a goal for what I hope my daughter can grow up to be like. And so on one side note, to wrap up, I'd also like to give a little shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Williams and say thank you for, sharing Michaela with all of us and sending her to Naugatuck and letting her go on the Disney trip and playing in our kickball games. She tries really good. She is great, as are many of these students, just not quite great enough to beat the staff in that game. But you've done an amazing job raising her. Michaela, you're an incredible person. Thank you. everybody for listening to my speech. And thank you, Michaela, for everything. You truly have pursued your excellence here at Naugatuck High School, and we're all better for it.
In William Shakespeare's famous comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, one of his few strong female characters, Hermia, is a force to be reckoned with. She chooses her own path in life and is forceful and fearless enough to reach her dreams. Her friend says of her, though she be but little, she is fierce. This is Jordan Hunt. She is little, but she is fierce. She is forceful and fearless and determined. She is moral and independent and brilliant. We only have to watch Jordan on the softball field or the volleyball court to figure out who she is in her heart. She uses every muscle in her body and every fiber of her being to achieve. She is the first to applaud her teammate or show compassion for a loss. She cheers her head off and then congratulates her rival. But do not be fooled by her cheering. She also demands that we all work as hard as she does. Her team spirit and sportsmanship show who she truly is. Second in her class, an AP scholar, a member of the National Honor Society, captain of her volleyball team, vice president of the senior class, high honor roll for 15 straight quarters. These accomplishments only begin to describe Jordan as a student and as a person. She reminds me daily of why I became a teacher. Of course, we all know she is very intelligent and she deserves praise for that, but there is so much more to her. She is one of the hardest working and most determined students I have ever had the privilege of teaching. This young woman wrote and rewrote and revised her college essay 6 times until it was perfect, and she was proud that it would represent her as she forged her future college career. Even more remarkably, Jordan, who claims she does not take risks, tackled a risky topic in her personal essay. She wrote about and recognized her growing morality and how, in order to continue into adulthood, she had to embrace the uncomfortable and often isolating feelings that result from doing what is right in all situations. And Jordan always does what is right. Her morality makes her stand out among her peers. In the classroom, Jordan is a powerful force. Her fierceness is most evident there. Man, she is intense. Although not particularly verbose, Jordan speaks to her teachers with her presence, with her whispered answers that require the astute attention of her teachers, with her advocacy for herself and her classmates, and most powerfully, with her unbelievably hardworking nature. Jordan is a compass in the classroom. Others look to her for understanding, validation, and fairness. And Jordan looks to her teachers and the other adults in her life for the same things. Jordan is unique in that she knows we are all in this together, and she allows others to help her just as she helps them. As a student of English, Jordan has grown as a reader and a writer. At the start of her junior year, Jordan told me that she felt her writing was not where it should be. We both made it a personal goal to move her to a place where she was comfortable and proud, and she has succeeded. She has embraced writing as a process, and she puts everything into it because she values the skill, not just the grade. This healthy mindset will help guide her in the future. She is little, but she is fierce. And I am so glad to know that she is there for us now and in the future, as a greyhound, a scientist, a researcher, a scholar, and a woman. And I am just glad to know her and to know that I have been a small part of her journey. In closing, with bittersweet pride and joy, I ask you to show Jordan and her family the applause they have earned throughout her high school career. She will go on and continue to make Naugatuck proud as she ventures onto the campus of St. Joe's and into her future. Jordan, stay fierce.
Ryan McGuire, you are a scholar, responsible citizen, and a gentleman. It is my pleasure to speak on your behalf as we celebrate your academic achievements while at Naugatuck High School. You have been a pleasure to have in class over the past 2 years. As a student, your work ethic and attention to detail is admirable. Your kindness and consideration in all that you do, as well as interactions with classmates and adults, has been more than notable. You have never let any challenge stop you for 1 second, nor do I think you ever will. It is now time for you to take all that you have learned and every experience you have had to inform your next steps as you navigate your new journey on your way to becoming a mechanical engineer. So, congratulations! Today is your day. You're off to Yukon. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You are almost on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the guy who will decide where to go. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 100% guaranteed. Ryan, you will move mountains. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Ryan, best of luck on your journey. Thank you for always trying your hardest, doing your best, and just being you. We'll miss you at Naugatuck High School. However, we know you are off to do great things. Randee, you are a researcher, informed thinker, and problem solver. It is my honor to speak on your behalf as we celebrate your academic achievements while at Naugatuck High School. Over the past 3 years, it has been my pleasure to work with you in class and through the Science Olympiad team. There are many reasons that I love my job, one of them being having the opportunity to continue my own educational journey. I have learned alongside you as you explored topics and disciplines of science beyond that of just biology. So thank you. I may have taught you how to use a microscope, how to create mathematical models using spreadsheets, and the importance of responsible and reliable research. However, you have taught me many lessons over the last 3 years as well. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face." Over the last 3 years, through Science Olympiad, you have explored, researched, and prepared for events covering topics and disciplines of science for which you had little to no prior knowledge of. By facing the fear of the unknown, you have gained strength, courage, and confidence. And I thank you for taking me on that journey. Randee, I hope you continue to gain strength, courage, and confidence by facing those fears. You define your educational journey. The University of Connecticut is lucky to have you join their class of 2024 as a major in chemical engineering. Randee, I hope that you will continue to personalize your educational journey in the years to come. I will miss seeing you in the classroom, in advisory, and during our Science Olympiad meetings and competitions. But I know that you're ready for the next step in your journey, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for always being you, trying your best, working your hardest, and being open to learning new things.